What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Wisdom Wayne podcast. I'm your host, Matt Velvet, and today is very special because I have my first guest, Joey Babylon.
What's up? Oh, and yes, I want to drown. Oh, and yes, I want to drown.
So, Joey,
What's up?
for people who may not know who you are, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
My name's Joey. I'm 6'1", and I make music, and I model, and I like to make TikToks, and I like to be connected to God and spirituality, and I've been making music for lots of years, and I'm here in Hawaii, and I met Matt in Hawaii, and I love coffee in the morning. And anyways, that's a little bit about myself. I'm a Gemini. Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks, Joey.
Yeah.
So, you said you've been playing music all your life?
Yeah, since I was about
Since you're...
9 or 10.
So-
Music has been a part of my life since then. My dad was a musician, but yeah.
I was gonna say, what really started getting you into making music?
I was just listening to music, and just feeling it just from such a young age, and just like feeling it so deeply. And that was like, wow, I want to do that. And my dad singing, my sister singing, and just kind of being entranced by music. And so I was like, yeah, I want to learn how to do music,
Mm-hmm. Do you have a specific moment or a specific artist you remember listening to and you're like, I really want to do that? For me, it was like when I was younger, my cousins lived with us, and my cousin Angel had a VHS of Britney Spears, and I used to like sneak it and watch it and pretend I was performing on stage, and like that's like my first memory of knowing that like I wanted to do something musical or theatrical or something like that.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Do you have a memory like that?
I think maybe I always saw myself in that. Like I always saw myself with the capacity, ability to do that. I was like, and feel that, and work at it. And there was moments like seeing Paul McCartney perform yesterday, like live. That was like, oh, this is so beautiful. Like, I was like, love the song. I love the Beatles. I remember, and music, there's been so many different levels of like music for me, whether it was a lot more melancholy, maybe more, acoustic instruments, and more melodic. That kind of music, like the Beatles and Coldplay, the Fray, was very kind of coming from an early age, and then it wasn't as pop music and rap music started becoming more part of like my thing, and my own kind of swagger and my own kind of like, idea, because, and now I feel like, listening to Kanye and listening to different, rappers be also record producers, and kind of like having creative vision and those kind of things, and artists, it was like, okay, I want to do that, more, and I don't want to hold myself to it, But I think about like also dancing, and I think about people like Corey, like you said, Britney Spears, and that's a whole nother level of music and different things where you're like a pop star, you know. I guess when I was about 12 or 13, I was like really like, damn. I remember also seeing the Black Eyed Peas, you know, from a young age, and dancing and just like dancing from a very young age also. And all of these things just kind of like being related to each other, not being the same thing, being related to each other. And me just kind of having a hand in the connection to every single part of it.
It's awesome. So when you're writing and producing, like your process, was it like modeled after a certain artist? Like, did you look up lyrics and kind of like recreate what they were doing, or like do you just kind of, does it come out of thin air, or like what's your process kind of like, and how did you form your process for writing and producing?
Well, you know how I said that with music, there's so many like different parts that are related to each other. So often I take time to honor those kind of parts. You know, I spend time writing, or writing poetry, or journaling. I take time to practice my vocals and my singing. I take time to, you know, dance. Not as often as I do writing, making music. And with production, it's helped a lot, you know, learning music theory, learning classical piano, guitar, and like understanding those things. So all these parts have helped me to become what I'm like writing, what I'm producing. You know, and I just kind of follow what feels good or the most exciting, or kind of like what is like what's gonna make this kind of it's kind of interesting or intriguing. Because when I'm writing into the guitar and singing, it's like different. You know, I like find some chords and sing to them. I sing it and then do it. It's constantly like playing around, and but also the point of like, okay, how can I like finish this, or like flesh it out to a certain point. And I think that is kind of when you get to a point where you're like, oh wow, feels like a thing, accomplishment, you know, a thing just like for yourself, or like this is an actual thing because I'm finishing this, I'm finishing them, you know, getting to those points. So I like to be a person that like tries to finish something, even if it's not what I had in my mind or the best or anything. Just, you know, even if I don't have all the pieces yet.
Yeah, I feel like that's an important thing to consider. You know, I've seen, like you mentioned, Kanye. I've seen a lot of interviews with him where he talks about, you know, making 3 beats a day for 3 summers, and just constantly creating and finishing, and then creating and finishing until, you know, he made something that he was really proud of. And there are other artists who talk about how many hundreds of songs they made just for one album and then filter them all down. So there's something to be said about continuing to create and getting better with each creation. You know, there's like the old 10,000 hours to be a master of your craft. So that's really cool.
That's really cool too.
Yeah. So are there any like musical projects you're currently working on, like an album or anything?
I'm currently working on, I know we just finished a song together, but what I'm currently working on is I'm working on an album, and it's been my first album, where I, you know, recorded, kind of produced about 40 songs maybe, 40, you know, and then there was other songs that I had to choose what to produce, and I looked through them, and, you know, I came to about 12 or something, and, you know, originally it was like, I do like 9. The numbers of the album are not totally finished, but yes, I've been working on that album right now, and I don't know about dates. I don't know about label yet or anything published, but I'm just working on recruiting it just to make it beautiful and meaningful to me.
It's lovely. So what was the inspiration behind the album?
The inspiration was a collection of moments and inspiration and experiences that, for me, and the inspiration was a lot about when someone really dear to me, my mother, when she committed suicide, drowned in the river, and then also when in 2023 I almost drowned in the ocean, and the song Space Song by Beach House was playing, and so I think that, and there's also during that time, after that year, I was really obsessed with like love and like finding my true love. It was like a couple months before my divorce, and we had already been separated like about 8 months, but and in those like moments and those obsessions of like connection with like love, and like not like someone is in your life but you just haven't met yet, or someone that you loved a lot and then they're dead, or they're missing or they're gone, and it's kind of like this in between space of like consciousness, and and I think about the color of water, how it's so elusive, and how it distorts light and things, and thinking about if you're underwater and you're looking out and it looks distorted, and how if we're a drop of water, God is the ocean, these concepts and that it uses, and these are just metaphors for a deeper understanding of life and consciousness, and the light within us, and the way that we're all connected to everything, with our dreams and our memories, and these things are like this elusive thing, like water, color of water. So
that's really powerful.
Some inspirations.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to hearing that.
Yeah.
What has music meant for you in your life, and what kind of impact has it had on like dealing with emotions or processing things, stuff like that?
It has been my rock, my God, in so many moments, my therapy, in so much of my life. It's been my conduit of emotions. It's been my party. It's been my lover. It's been my best friend. And I wouldn't be where I am today without music. I think I would have be a lot angrier. I think I would have killed myself or someone. I just think that it's just been that for me, because there's so much that I'm able to process through music, emotions, understanding, and being understood through music, that couldn't be like me and my ex-husband. I couldn't fucking tell him anything. He just was like a wall, and I felt like I couldn't communicate with him, even though I always thought myself as this excellent communicator. But he never understood until I wrote a song about it and shared it with him. He's like, oh, I get it. And I think that sometimes it's a way to get it, I get it. I understand life now. I understand love. I understand God. I understand why I went through those things, and so much just because of music. I understand romance, you know. I understand the reason to party, to dance, because of music.
It's really beautiful. And I think that's awesome and really inspiring that, you know, going through so many hard things in your life, instead of turning to, you know, like negative things or things that'll just, you know, bring you down even further, you're able to transform and transmute that energy into something that's art and that other people can enjoy as well, and that can be an inspiration to other people. And a lot of artists and a lot of people who don't realize they're artists yet go through these emotions and don't really have an outlet. So for people who are going through really dark stuff and want to have that kind of outlet, a way of releasing their emotions into music, how could they get started doing that? Or what kind of advice do you have for people who want to start making music?
You can learn anything.
You know?
You can learn anything. You can do anything you set your mind to. You know, it's okay. Like, as it is, it's fine. Whatever stage you are, it's fine. It's enough. You know, don't devalue your music. I had a friend that was like, you know, kind of comparing himself to me, and was like, well, I'm not as, you know, I'm not as a pro like you or anything like that. Well, you know, because he wanted, he's in his 40s, want to record an album, and, you know, shared me this song with 2 chords on them, and this other song where he just played like these 3 notes the whole song, and I was fully entranced in the songs because it came from like a real place, but also it was like so artistically done, because being an artist is about perspective. It's not about having the best skills, even though that all these things help, you know. You know, it depends on what you want to do. You can use a DAW or Logic, or have a friend produce, or do it yourself, or buy a laptop. You know, we only limit ourselves. And if you want to have an idea that like, oh, I don't have, you know, these connections, or I don't have that, okay, so be it. But then that's your truth, and that's the life you live. You know, you have to be willing to release your own limitations. Stop making excuses for yourself, and just do it, and work with what you have, because I know you have something. If that means yodeling in the fucking Walmart, then go yodel in the fucking Walmart. You know?
Yeah.
You know, there's so many ways that we have resources to make music. You know? But don't allow a limitation or something, or some belief get in the way of you being able to take action, to learn, and to develop. You know? Because I have so many opportunities, but it's also because I choose to see it as such. You know? On the other hand, I can choose to see how many opportunities I didn't have. You know, I slept on the living room floor on a pile of laundry for about 6-7 years of my life as a kid. There's a couple times I had a little mattress I could lay down, but that was just too much. It was just, you know, lay on this pile of laundry. And there was music, and there was things that everything. You know, I know my dad limited himself a lot, even though he's really talented. And I was given opportunities to play music, and, you know, instead of feeling sorry for myself, you know, I learned, and I taught myself. And I kept going. You know, even though people like certain important people that were supposed to be like, you know, parents to me would tell me, you know, stop screaming, or, you know, kind of tell me kind of things that would fuck with me, but I just worked harder, you know?
Yeah, that's a good point of relying on yourself. Someone I worked with once told me that the most powerful thing you can do is learn how to make music on your own, learn how to produce at whatever level you can, because once you can do that, then no one can stop you from creating your art. So I think that's really important, and there's not just one way to make a song or one way to do anything. And sometimes we think that things have to sound a certain way or be a certain way or use a certain process, but me personally, a lot of the times, like the songs and the things that I've created where I just did it how I could with the resources I had, ended up being ones that people related to the most because they were really raw and came from a pure place, instead of just trying to recreate something or just trying to create something that people like. So I think that's really...
You have to do what you like.
Yeah.
And no one wants to consume art that was made just for them. It's so predictable. People want something that's daring, that inspires confidence in themselves, you know. Who is going to inspire you to like everything? Is it going to be someone that cares about what you think? No. Doing what you can on your own, learning everything, and not just relying all on others, and taking from others and using their talent, but giving with your own talent and developing your own talent and skills, whatever capacity that might be. But also don't be afraid to work with people and like connecting with other people and building a team and connecting with people and using each other's skills to make something happen, because there's power together, but you have to be giving and add value to the team. It's going to get in the way if you keep doubting yourself and keep devaluing yourself. Don't waste your time and other people's time with self-doubt. Just do the work the best you can. And keep showing up for yourself and for others. It doesn't need to be perfect.
So, what keeps you going and what keeps you creating?
That's just I think the law of the universe is constantly expanding until we destroy ourselves. So we're always expanding. And I think that, you know, some people like to expand in their own like self-depression and, you know, negativity cycles and use until they fucking destroy themselves. You know? Well, you know, I like to fucking expand in the way that creating my art and my vision and my everything, creating it to something that's more tangible in my imaginations, in my fantasies and my things, everything. And my feelings and my emotions, my romance, that I think is so specific and unique to me and like my everything. And I think that I want to show and share with people a little bit how I see things, but also share with myself how I see things, you know? And it's the satisfaction of that growing and creating your world.
That's a really great outlook to have.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Really great questions.
Thank you. So, this is called the Wisdom Wayne podcast, and the whole point of this podcast is to share my wisdom, and now I'm beginning to share the wisdom of others that I value and respect in my life. So, what is one piece of wisdom you would like to leave with the listeners and viewers before we wrap this up?
Don't waste your time and other people's time with self-doubt. Just do the work and stand tall and keep showing up for yourself.
Oh yeah. Alright, well, thank you, Joey Babylon, for being my first guest
You're welcome.
on the Wisdom Wayne podcast. For everyone that's watching or listening, where can they find more of you?
At Joey Babylon.
Okay.
Joey, JoeyBabylo. Guys, you already know. But anyways,
Thank you so much, Joey. And thank you
Spotify, Apple Music,
maybe we'll have a future collab soon, who knows?
future collab, website's coming soon,
Yeah.
merch,
Hell yeah. Well,
my
thank
ass
you.
on a t-shirt.
I'll buy that.
Yeah, no, you will.
Well, thank you, Joey.
Welcome.
And thank you, everyone, for watching and listening. This has been the Wisdom Wayne podcast. I am your
Super
host,
great.
Matt Velvet, and thank you so much.
sad.
All I ever really wanted was my story to be told.